And a good Sunday afternoon here in the United States. It is Monday morning in Australia. Good Monday morning to you, Jason.
Good afternoon to you, Scott.
Thanks. We're in the middle of NFL football season here. And so I've been getting texts today from people that Joe Calloway being one, that their team is not doing well today. So hopefully they'll join us for a couple of minutes here and ease the pain of your favorite team not doing what you'd like it to do.
Well, that's the thing about sport. There's always a team that's doing well and a team that's not, and hopefully the team that's doing well is your team. Just like our weather's opposite, our football seasons are opposite as well. At the moment, the sport in Australia would be something called cricket, which if you like golf, you'll probably like cricket because they move at about the same pace.
When I was there in Australia, cricket was all the rage on television there, and I watched it. And I just couldn't figure it out. I just can't figure out scoring and everything else. It's so different for those of us in the States. It was just hard, they'd hit the ball and run back and forth and try it. It looked a little like a baseball does here in the States, as you know, but I couldn't. I
don't know. I might be biased. I think baseball has a bit more energy than cricket, but nonetheless, every sport has its diehard fans, right?
Gosh, and the stands were, tens of thousands of people watching it. It's amazing. It's so huge. And when I've spoken India, there's another place, and it's just amazing with the World Cup going on now and everything else. Hey, this is Jason's book, his first book of many to come. And I've always loved the title of this because it's provocative to say the least. It's all about
CEX.
CEX. Yes. And I love the subtitle, The Essential Guide to Customer and Employee Experience. And that's what we want to spend just a few moments here today. Hey, Dwayne's already with us. Glad to see that. We got some other folks that have joined us now, so thank you for being here. That's what we wanted to spend just a few minutes about today, is talking about the employee experience. Because, Jason, we've heard so much and talked so much about the importance of the role of the customer experience in gathering repeat and referral business. But how in the world do you have a great customer experience when the employees hate where they work? I mean, it's just not going to happen, right? So could you start out about what interested you to write a book like this? Because there are books on how to treat your employees. There are other books about, customer experience. Some I've written, but you were really the first one I saw that put that together into a more meaningful whole. Could you just chart that for us a little bit, please?
Yeah, well, it comes from a place of deep experience. I remember, I was very early in my career and I got my first team, and I never had a manager come up to me and say, "How are your employees going today?" They always said, "Why is this customer not happy? Why is this happening to a customer? What have we done for a customer today?" The conversation was always about a customer, except for at one point during the year. At one stage every year, and it has not mattered what company I've worked in, or for the majority at least, there would be this survey go out, and there would be the employee engagement survey, and occasionally it would have a different name. And at that point in time, again, the conversation with my manager would still be about the customers or the metrics, how many calls did the team answer, how many widgets did you ship. It would always be about either the business or the customer metric, never about the employee metric, until results day. And the results would come out and it would be, you are fantastic as a leader, or you are the opposite of fantastic. And it didn't matter where you sat on that continuum. I inherited a team and had gone through this wonderful employee engagement survey, and they compared my results with the previous leader's results, and night and day. And I'm not wanting to pat myself on the back, but the results were night and day. The conversation was still, they're not good enough. And the very next day, the conversation went back to, how many widgets are we shipping? How many customers have we served? Why do we have so many staff to serve this number of customers? And throughout my career, I've found that is the wrong way to do business. First and foremost, you should measure how your employees are engaged, how committed they are to the organization, what's working, what's not working. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that, but the difference, and this is what I talk about in the book, is it's not something that you have a conversation about once a year. Because if you actually want to achieve all those business metrics, if you want to achieve all those customer metrics, then you have to care equally about the employee metrics, the employees themselves, because it's no good making the employee happy one day a week or one day a month or one day a year. Every company I've worked in, coming up to employee engagement time, there would be a conversation at the boardroom about what can we remind the team that we've done this year to make them give us a good score. That's not the way to manage them. And so I found that in every team, no matter whether it was the first team I had or the last team that I had, and they grew over the years, when I focused on their experience and what I could deliver, what my promise as their leader was to them as the employee, as the team member, when I focused on that just as much as the other metrics, then the other metrics improved in a much more sustainable way. And that's the goal, right? It's not to be fantastic for a customer on a Monday and crap for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
It's equally not the goal to be like that for your employees. And what we quite often forget is our employees can be our biggest advocates or the opposite. And we know the challenges businesses have today finding great employees. I myself have spent 6 months trying to recruit a couple of team members, additional team members, and it is a challenge at the moment. But this is where having great employee experience comes in, because if you have great employees, they will tell their friends and family,
Absolutely,
who might also become great employees, or worst case scenario, might just become a customer, and nothing is wrong with getting another customer, right?
that's so true. And you remind me of a couple of things. And by the way, we're going to be addressing these issues in detail in our program coming up this week. It's called Stand Out, Earn More. It is a live 3-day program that we're going to be together for a few hours each day. It's not a full day program as some are, so you can fit it in with your work schedule. But we'll be conducting the Stand Out, Earn More program live this week. You can sign up for it at the address on your screen right now, standoutearnmore.live. And the best part of it for you is it's absolutely free. It's free to attend. If you'd like to get the recordings of the sessions and also be a part of a follow-up discussion and Q&A and hot seats and the like, Jason and I will also be doing that with your VIP registration. That's a very, very small price. But to attend the program, it's absolutely free. So just go to standoutearnmore.live to learn more. Jason, from your book, by the way, I've had people, I don't know if you've had this happen or not, I've had people come up and say, gosh, in Iconic on page 138, were you...
And you're thinking, 138. Sure, I know what I wrote there.
Are you talking the ebook or the physical copy? Anyway, Jason, on page 131 of your book, this is something that struck me.
There's some black text. I agree.
Well, it says here, if you were to ask 5 of your employees today, and this is from Jason's book, what promise do we make to our team? Would you get 5 different, possibly incompatible answers? And I love that, because I was doing a series of programs. Juniper Networks had me go to some of their partners, and it was I don't know if it was a reward or punishment for the partners that they got me for a day, but I was conducting programs for the partners. And I remember this one partner that I went to, and they were bringing, the senior members of the team in, and the owner said, well, you don't need to do the clarity piece with our group because we have that down. And I said, well, would you humor me just to let me introduce that And then I can move quickly on to
Mm.
the other, but I'll take you at your word. So I think many times they think they're more clear than they are. I gave everybody a 3x5 inch index card, and I said, if you were to describe your organization's goals in one sentence, what would that be? And they each wrote down. Some of them had a hard time thinking of it, which you didn't anticipate. There were 15 people in the room, and I bet we had at least 10 different varied answers, which none of the group found amazing, but the owner of that small business was stunned.
Mm.
He thought he had been totally clear with his employees about, the mission, vision, values of the organization, and they couldn't describe the goals of the company precisely. And so I think part of this employee experience that's so critical is to make certain that all of our team is, to use a cliche, but that all of our team is singing from the same sheet. That we all, not that we all have to believe the same, not that there will be varying levels of engagement and involvement no matter what, but if we're not all heading in the same direction, it becomes incredibly difficult to deliver an ultimate customer experience.
Yeah, it's so true. I can remember one time I walked around to my contact center team, and I said to the contact center manager, "Turn the phones off." And he's like, "But what?
What?
Why are we turning the phones off? We're like, it's busy." And I said, "Please just turn them off, and get your other teams in the other centers to turn their phones off and jump on a video link." And so they jumped on a video link. The people in that location were in front of me, and there was the normal buzz around what's going on. This is unprecedented. Contact centers rarely want to turn their phones off, or they might want to, but they don't do it, right? And the reason I did it was because I had seen a growing alarming trend that we didn't have clarity around purpose in that contact center. And I felt that I needed to make a big gesture to reinforce just how important everyone being on the same page was.
You bet.
And at the end, I may have only had those phones turned off for 5 minutes, 6, 7 minutes at max. But in that call it 7 minutes, in that 7 minutes, the team got a very clear message around what my number one priority was. Mm-hmm. And did people make mistakes after that? Absolutely. But I had their back when they made those mistakes, because they could also tell me what the intent was, what their thinking process was behind the decision that led to the mistake. And it was always aligned with the purpose of why we had the contact center.
No, I remember when Howard Schultz came back as CEO of Starbucks, and they shut down every Starbucks everywhere in the world for, I don't recall the duration of the event, but it was a virtual conference where the whole message was, we got to get back to these basics to make certain that everybody understood. And you think about the average. I think the average business leader first thought would be, think about how much that cost to do that. But one of the things I've talked about a lot, and you've heard me talk about, is there's another type of ROI, and that's return on inaction. What if you don't do it? What if you continue to keep making these same mistakes and you veer further off course because you don't take that action to shut things down and have that conversation? And I think that's one of the things too about our upcoming conference, in all candor. A lot of folks may be thinking, that sounds like a great event, but gosh, I am so busy. It's end of the year. I am so busy. What's the return on inaction? What if you miss out on even just one idea that could help you be more profitable, or give you more freedom, or provide more opportunity in the coming year? It doesn't take 100 ideas. It takes perhaps one idea that you can be 100% invested in And Jason, you and I have talked a lot about how these concepts and these ideas aren't going to break your budget. They aren't going to blow up your bank account, because they are very specific things that you can steps that you can take, strategies you can employ to really make a difference. And we've just given you one. If you're watching right now, is do you need to shut things down for 7 minutes just to make sure that every one of your employees is unified and understands the vision? There was a thing recently in a study released by the Retail Marketing Institute, and one of the things that it said was that 70% of frontline employees, you got that figure? 70% of frontline employees cannot answer this question. Why should a customer do business where you work as opposed to the competition? Now, if your own employees can't answer that question, how in the world do we assume that customers are going to be able to answer the question about why they need to buy from us instead of somebody else? We've got to make certain that our team members are united and understand. And if they're not having a great experience, they're not going to relate the advantages of your business to customers. It's all integrated. It's all something we got to synchronize.
Yeah, I have to say that it concerns me when I hear about employees that are more focused on the tips that they're going to generate than the experience they deliver. Now, I understand that tipping is a big part of the American culture, and I'm not making a comment about that. What I'm very clearly criticizing is if you've created an environment, an employment relationship with individuals where, because of how you compensate them, they are more focused on whatever it takes to get a great tip versus whatever it takes to get a customer for life, then you've set it up wrong.
Yeah.
And that is as bad as not having clarity. Because I would argue that there's a company I do some work with, and this is a challenge that we face every day. Their customers' employees are more focused on the short-term win of the tip from that day than they are from a lifetime of tips, because they have a avalanche of customers that want to do business with them and want to reward the great experience. Scott, while you were talking earlier, it made me remember the great folk, the ladies and gentlemen at the Ritz-Carlton. Now, every Ritz-Carlton hotel, I should say, across the world, every single day at the start of every single shift, have what they call a lineup. And at that lineup, they go through, some typical things that you would imagine, well, we've got this VIP in the property. We've got this VIP arriving. This is happening in the hotel. Some logistical, some admin stuff, right? But every single day during that meeting, they take the opportunity to reinforce and provide clarity around their purpose, their 7 keys of service excellence, what their promise is to their customers, and what their promise is to their employees. Now, they don't go through all of it every day. They go through one section of it every day. And I asked one of the employees at the Ritz-Carlton that I have had the great pleasure of staying at, and that individual had worked at that hotel for 20 years.
Wow.
And I said, come on, surely, I know that the company says that every day you do this thing called a lineup, but surely 20 years you get excused. Like, I get it treated exactly the same as the person that started today. Every day for 20 years at the start of my shift or shortly after the start of my shift, I've had to attend a lineup. And I hear the same message time and time again, that means. But it's why we are the team that we are. Yeah. And there's no difference. What first day, 20 years, you still get that reinforcement message, that clarity. And I think that is one of the reasons why they continue to rate so highly in guest awards, employee awards, why they continue to open properties. People will invest in you if they see a consistent delivery of what you say you're going to do. And investors will invest, employees will want to work with you, they'll want to stay with you, they'll want to go that extra mile on the times where no one's asked them to, but it's the right thing to do. And of course, customers reward that with loyalty and genuine loyalty.
Yes.
Not oh, if I fly this other airline, I won't get those 500 miles that I need to get my really crappy lounge access.
Yeah. Well, and here's an example. Then, Jason, let me give this one quick example, and then if you'll come back and tell us more about the program that you and I are doing later this week. Oh, by the way, Randy Pennington, my great friend, Ritz-Carlton treats 20-year associates the same as brand new associates. I also suspect, I love this, they treat brand new associates like 20-year associates.
Right on the money, of course, Randy, as always.
Yeah, absolutely. Spot on. Yeah, one of the examples they use in the book Iconic, and it's a restaurant example. One of my favorite restaurants, St. Elmo's in Indianapolis. And St. Elmo, to your point about tipping, one of the things that St. Elmo does is that every server has a business card. And at the end of the meal, they present you with the business card, hoping that you will ask for them when you return, and offering to help you get your reservation and to help you, get in and have your favorite meal again, to bring more people. So now all of a sudden, the server goes from being transactional, hoping for a tip, to being what they like to call an intrapreneur rather than an entrepreneur, a person that is incentivized to build their own business, their own practice within the restaurant. So you have your favorite waiter and you return and they look at you. It changes so much, because it makes that waiter now not just trying to get a tip on that meal. It's looking at long-term, lifetime value that we talk a lot about in every other business, but we don't hear about waiters thinking about the lifetime value of a customer, but they sure do at St. Elmo's. So we've got a bunch more ideas and very specific steps that small business owners, entrepreneurs, if you're in a practice like financial services, or you're a doctor, a chiropractor, any kind of physician in an independent practice, all of these are ideas that will help you grow what you do so you earn more. So Jason, talk a little bit more, if you would please, about our program that's coming up. Oh, and you're muted, Jason. Did I do that? I'm sorry.
Well, there we go. We are not hosting a technology workshop. Do not register if you want to know how to use StreamYard, because that's clearly not my forte. So at the Stand Out, Earn More online workshop, there are 3 core pillars of content that we'll cover off. The first is how you'll learn how to generate repeat and referral business without discounting. It's so easy to give people discounts to try and get new business. But as we talked about just last week, that doesn't necessarily lead to more profit or more repeat sales. So we're going to look at how you can generate repeat and referral business without discounting. We're going to talk to you about how to attract and retain great employees, and the same framework applies to your freelancers and your subcontractors, anyone that's working with your customers or with your team members, so that you truly can grow your business. And then the third pillar is how to stand out from your competition so you can be distinctive in your marketplace, in your community. Now, they're the 3 core pillars, but we actually touch on some other topics too throughout the event. So one of those, for example, is I'll be sharing with you 5 ways businesses are using technology to grow their sales. I'll share with you many case studies, but one of those case studies is where a very slight change in the way that a company I worked with used technology led to a 300% increase in the number of customers willingly giving them their name and email address and some other details, requesting a call. Now, I don't know about you, but I haven't met a business yet that wouldn't like 300% more people wanting to do business with them. Now, do all of those prospects turn into customers? Of course not. And will it be the same in your business? Not necessarily, but the framework, the approach, that is the where you will get your gold. In everything that we talk about over the 3 days, 3 hours each day, US Pacific time, December 15, 16, and 17, from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., it can be absolutely applied to your business, and we will help you unpack how to apply it. Now, if you upgrade to VIP, you get 90 days access to the recordings. You also get a bonus 1-hour Q&A session where you can ask Scott and I a direct question as it relates to your business to help you move faster. So, Scott, will you be there with me on December 15?
Absolutely. And I'm really looking forward to it, Jason. I think this is going to be I know it's going to be an absolutely terrific event. And we want you to sign up now. Once again, there's the dates. December 15, 16, and 17, 1 p.m. Pacific time. And the dates vary. Obviously, it's 16, 17, and 18 for our friends in Australia where Jason is based. But sign up now. It's absolutely free. That's the amazing thing. And as Jason mentioned, yes, you can upgrade to a VIP to spend a little extra time with us, to get the recordings of the sessions and more for a very, very low price. But if you just like to attend, just to gain some of these ideas, why not sign up and sign up now? Because there's zero risk. It's absolutely free for you. We would just love to have you be a part of this and share what's worked for you, or share what hasn't worked for you and get some ideas on how to fix it. It's going to be a highly interactive approach. It's not 3 hours a day of Jason and me doing what we've been doing here, which is, just talking. We're going to learn from you and where your challenges and where your opportunities are as well. So you got to sign up to attend. That's the only. I had somebody write and say, okay, it's free. What's the catch? Well, the catch is you got to sign up to attend. You can't show up without signing up. So all you need to do is just go sign up right now and come to our incredible session that's going to be coming up here in the States. The time is December 15, 16, 17, starting at 1 p.m., 1 to 4 on those 3 dates. Obviously, it's 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern time, different times in Australia that will be there when you go to standoutearnmore.live. Standoutearnmore.live. So,
and Scott, I should say that when you do register, at the very last part of that registration is we invite you to complete a short quiz. Now, that quiz, from memory, is 5, maybe 6 questions long. It really is short. But the reason that we invite you to do that is because that feedback will directly influence the program that we deliver. It will allow us to personalize the content to have more impact for each delegate that attends the event. So yes, we don't need to ask these questions. We could deliver a fantastic program over the 3 days with all of our content, but we're going to personalize the experience so that you get the most that you possibly can out of it. So I'd really encourage you not only to register, but take the extra 2-3 minutes to answer those 5 questions, because it will inform the examples that we provide, the case studies that we provide, and really help you get more out of the event.
I posted it. I'm going to put it back up. I don't know if you had a chance to see it, Jason. I love Dwayne's comment. Yeah, the catch is you get addicted to great input and knowledge, and I appreciate that greatly, Dwayne, and so glad that you're going to be there as well. Thank you for signing up. So, standoutearnmore.live. It's 15, 16, and 17. So it is right around the corner. Thursday, Friday, Saturday here in the States. Friday, Saturday, Sunday in Australia, and we just can't be more excited about this. So, Jason, any last comments before we finish up for the day?
So we started today talking about the employee experience, and if you're a solopreneur, everything that we spoke about, the need for clarity, the need for a consistent purpose, that applies to you as well. As a solopreneur, you are your first employee, And if you are busy being distracted, it's going to be very hard for you to build your business. So, as a solopreneur, my absolute advice is set the parameters, the standards that you want for your future employees and apply them to the way that you operate so that you can build the business and the habits that when you get your first employee, your second employee, virtual, in person, or however you employ them, that you have the habits in place that deliver a great employee experience and ultimately leads to your business growth.
Spot on. Spot on. Again, as we said at the very beginning, and I appreciate you bringing it full circle, Jason, that as we said at the very beginning, it's impossible to deliver the experience that your customers want unless your employees are having an extraordinary experience where they work. And so they're so tied together. By the way, here's the best book on the planet on the subject. And you're going to be learning from the author at our free program that is coming up this week. So go right now to standoutearnmore.live, sign up. It's absolutely free to sign up. We look forward to seeing you this week. Dwayne, thank you for your support as well. We appreciate you doing what you do, and we appreciate you signing up, just as we appreciate all the folks that have signed up for the program so far and those that are going to be signing up in the coming few days. Jason, I hope you have a great Monday. I'm going to get some football watching in before the day is done here and get caught up on some things. And I hope you have a great start to your week. And thanks to everybody for watching today. Be watching here on social media, and we'll reveal when we're going to be back on prior to our event in this coming week. So thanks, everybody. Look forward to seeing you again soon.